Don't forget to suck some titties.
So the punching bag of the internet, be Simone right now. And I promised I was actually going to make a video like a day yesterday about it, because I started like seeing it a little bit, the viral stuff of her interview with her friend going around my finances, as she's bragging about having an app that's about to make her a shitload of money, as she says, but then my assets though, I'm still fine. But liquid, yeah, talked about liquid like the boy, like Ben Affleck. I am liquid. If you know, you know. Shout out Ryan Russillo. But since the whole algorithm and the internet's going to talk about it, I guess I'll hop on the bandwagon. So I've been before I get into my thoughts, my full thoughts and takes, I've seen just about like 20 different videos. And what I'm trying to do is just not to splurge out the same. She's a bad friend. She's kind of in her own world. She used to talk about how she could never date a 9-to-5, and now she's begging for money. Now she's kind of on this Christ path obsession that she's kind of exploiting for money, but whatever. Now it seems like her whole thing is about, her self-help culture, Christianity type of thing. So I want to kind of go deeper into really why someone could probably go down this road. I actually took some notes, so you're welcome. I think this is what happens when the obsession with entrepreneurship goes wrong. Look, she's obviously built something very well for herself, has made quite a lot of fucking money. So, good for her. I think something, though, is we have this entrepreneurial obsession culture where it's kind of like what she wanted in a man. I want someone who wants to do their own. I want a CEO. I want a person who understands my lifestyle. And sometimes it's a dangerous game, because you're going to get exactly all the things that are blinded by yourself. You're going to get that in someone else. But the entrepreneurial mindset, it goes wrong because if you get too caught up in it and everything becomes about business, and when everything becomes about business, money, you can see how it works out with her friends. Because what happens over time, you can see with her ex-friend, and I think her name's Megan, and this friend that she has now, we'll see how much longer they're friends, where there's always a man, like, she wants everything to be together when the power dynamics have kind of evened out, let's just say. And that's why you hear her say, I don't know how to feel about this. That's when you hear her say, it hurt me because now I want to do it together. When people only want to do things, people with that entrepreneurial mindset, they only want to do things together when it's beneficial towards their financial bigger picture for themselves. When sometimes doing something together may mean you get nothing out of it, which may have been when you should have helped her instead of helping other people who already have a good thing going. But now that she's built something up, and she's still friends with you, which says a lot that she doesn't even hold you to an accountability or standard to alienate her friendship with you, because maybe she sees a better version of you than the world right now. But she couldn't deny how she was feeling during that time. But the entrepreneurial mindset, when you get in that obsession where it's, if it don't make sense, it don't make dollars, right? Well, it gets you in situations where you alienate a lot of people over time. People that are very close to you, because everything becomes about, I only want us to be business relationship. That's the only thing I care about. And when you're up and when you have a lot of things going when you make a little bit of money, as everyone goes through, anyone that's first started making money for the first time in their life, or they make more money substantially than everyone else, they get this sense of themselves that they hold this dynamic of hierarchy. And everything is based off the world revolves around them just because they make that. But the thing is, when you have an inner circle group where everyone wants to do the same thing as you, and you have, quote unquote, the platform, you have the image, you have everyone. And the thing is, to be honest with you, like if you're one of her friends and you're trying to do the same stuff as her, I don't really feel too bad for you because you're seeking kind of the same thing. Now, if it was someone who had a job that had nothing to do with it and they just want to be friends with her and she started treating them like that, then that would be different. But you are who you hang around with. But now that reality's heading for her, like, maybe things haven't worked out in some ways, she hasn't found the man she's looking for, she's trying to regain her faith with Christ, and that entrepreneurial obsession mindset, as many great things as it did for her, these are the things when people talk about you will pay the price for all the downsides that come with things. The question you got to ask yourself is you got to be able to live and deal with the wounds that you caused with that. And the fact that these people still want to be in your life, you should be grateful for that. Now look, everyone on the internet is trashing for the obvious things. Is she a person that I would want to hang around with? Probably not. Her personality is not something I would be overly attractive to. You can't be someone who's ultra confident and loud, kind of can be obnoxious in some ways, can come off as everything's about what serves you, and then get mad when the people that you neglected to serve yourself over time are like, yeah, that was kind of fucked up what you did. And be like, yeah, but now we should do all this together. Because now, the only reason why now you want to do things together is because you kind of feel like they're not so far below you. And it's definitely someone who kind of wants to hold on to friendships that are only self-serving. And the thing about friendships is people look at friendships and stuff like that like it's only supposed to be as long as it's serving. And we start using these things. Sometimes people outgrow each other. For the most part, that's not really a real thing. Because outgrowing is very subjective. It really just means when someone says we outgrew each other, the person that says it really means that I just think I'm better than you now. That's not projecting. I've actually never had someone told me I've outgrown you because I'm always taller. And these broad shoulders. And your broads on mine. But it's the thing that kind of lost my place for a second. But when you start rationalizing with outgrowing each other and stuff like that and different spiritual and her pettiness, during the first quote unquote friendship breakup, her friend Megan was actually pretty respectful and she used that, BS terminology. We outgrew each other. I wish her nothing but the best in her spiritual journey. And she makes a whole promotional video for this podcast years ago. And everyone was all this attention on her for all this stuff. And made this whole it was a well-produced video. And then it was her going to a set. And then it's what is this chair doing here? Get rid of that. And someone comes, takes rid of the chair. And basically kind of saying, I don't need no one else. And now, guess what? She wants to do it together. You can't have that lambastic arrogance about you when you're on top of the world and be Let's just call it. She's a front runner. In sports, it was like watching the finals. And I'll even say the Pacers would do it at times, but there would be times in the playoffs, certain teams, where when they are up, they talk the most shit. They are the most disrespectful. They'll tell you can't guard me and all that, but then they're down 20 and they can't handle it, They can't handle when someone's doing it to them. They're front runners. She kind of has a front runner mentality. When she's in control, when she's up, no one can stop her. She's invincible. But the second some adversity in the thing that she put so much of her identity in, which a lot of entrepreneurs do, they put all their identity into business and money. And they rationalize very poor behavior in friendships and hide it behind, well, I got to do what's best for my business. Okay, that's fine. You can do what's best for your business, but understand down the line, like in these situations, these people may not want to have much of business to do with you. I'm not saying she had to do anything for her friend to give her a job or nothing like that. I don't think that really would have solved anything. That probably would have made it worse. But you can't. She definitely has this kind of victim, woe is me about everything. But at the same time, even when she has you believing, like, man, I'm going through it. And then she's like, yeah, but this app, it's about to be liquid. But, I just don't have liquid, She said liquid so much, I had to pee a couple times. I went to the bathroom 3 times. Speaking of liquid, today's sponsors, C4. Blue, raspberry, Jolly Rancher. And B. Simone sure gave the baby that Jolly Rancher. If you know, you know. But, and the internet's flaming her. And look, deservingly so. But here's what I'll also say. What effect does this have on our audience? Absolutely none. Because let's be pretty frank about it. If you're a real B. Simone fan and what you got the door for, which was wild and out, comedic skits, Instagram, YouTube, kind of like just doing videos with doing like skits and stuff, kind of doing her little act, like she has an act in a good way, she's entertaining. It's like you don't get to where she's at without being entertainment. But her audience is based off those things, which is being loud, being kind of saying the quiet thing for girls out loud, saying the, for better or worse, her preference and doing it in a way of unapologetic. And in a very condescending way that would rub men off. And now she wants everyone to feel a little empathetic towards her. But even her audience, no one's unsubscribing from her channel. She's not getting canceled or anything. If anything, it's bringing more traffic to her channel. I think I looked. I don't think she got a crap load more views, but definitely more than she typically gets on her podcast episodes. So it definitely helped with something. But not all good traffic is good traffic. But, that's why I don't think it's not one of those situations where this is going to be the downfall of her. It's not going to, no one's unsubscribed. Like even her fans are still going to watch her stuff. But what it is going to do, it's going to create such this extra eye on her from people that don't really watch her stuff. And now they're going to find every little thing, the people that don't watch her show, and they're going to find something else that she says. Then the next thing. And critique that. And then she might go into hyper defense mode. And it might be this her against the world thing. So overall, like really in the whole scheme of things, like God, bro, all these commentary channels were covered. I'm like, I saw a couple and that kind of got me like introduced. And then like yesterday and today, like literally every male commenter, but just even like channels I'd never watched before, but it's popping up. The shit's going viral. This B Simone shit. But yeah, I think overall, the overall take I want to just give about this and this scattered across take is just simply when every decision you make is about transactional and everything becomes transactional and everything becomes about what serves you, everything becomes about your business and every single decision in life, then when you talk about struggling with finances, going from bragging about making $1 million a month to going down to 10,000, which I don't think she went from $1 million to 10,000, but whatever. Bragging about living in $1 million condo, you got to understand, like, it doesn't affect me one bit. It doesn't make me feel any type of way that someone lives a greater financial monetary life than I do. I'd never get like that. But there are people, your audience, it doesn't, it's weird. Now I say, it doesn't affect her audience in terms, she's not going to lose subscribers. But when you're making comments like I had to shop at H&M. Like, you got to understand that I think some of these influencers lose track of is that, like, these audience that are directly paying for your merch and this app that you want people to pay through to basically just more shit about your faith, which is like, well, your whole podcast is about faith. Why am I going to pay for your app to watch you go through more faith and shit? I think the message is all right, but that's a whole nother thing. Then she has the history of MOK, you can't be a good man and cheat on your wife. It's like, actually you can. I think MOK would be an exception to that rule. Like, I'm not going to relive old takes, but I did rewatch. I'm like, yeah, dude, that was pretty bad. Like, her and a friend were like, how are you can't, just because you're a good father, just because you pay the bill, just because this and that, how are you going to be, and you're cheating on me? You can't be a leader of this household. And it's like, well, actually you can. And he was. He was a leader of a movement. His civil rights. Like, a little bit more than a leader of a household. I'm not rationalizing cheating. But there's one person that should get an exemption. I think it's MOK, bro. There's a few things where it's like, sometimes, I'm not going to say that's pretty fucked up to say. But you know what? You can't be, you're dealing with the stress, you're traveling a lot, you worry about getting assassinated everywhere you go. Hey, man, let the man blow some steam. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, you definitely, when you have takes like that, when you have a friend that died getting surgery of a BBL in Miami or whatever happened, and then you go online and you're trying to promote, I think it was some type of chat thing, or she was trying to promote something in the thing, so just like this, just lack of awareness. Like, the thing, if you're an influencer, the thing that boggles my mind about influencers in general, your whole job and obsession is how people perceive you. Then you do things like that, where someone dies, you make a whole post about it to make the world know how you feel about it, and then you have the audacity to add a link to something that has something to do with you benefiting financially from it. My cat died today. Today's, guys, go buy this 12-pack of C4 so I can get a 50% commission, because this funeral's not going to be cheap. That'd be pretty fucked up to do, right? It's just that lack of awareness. Like, it's crazy. These people pay thousands and they have a whole, it's crazy. They always brag about having to pay a crazy amount for a team and production and stuff. And then no one was like, hey, you probably should not add a link to this. And it's those things along the way that this isn't, it's now when you are asking, you want people to feel sad for you, empathetic for you. Even when you try to make people feel empathetic, you don't even realize that you still brag about having a shitload of assets. You still brag about how this app could potentially make you a shitload of money. And literally your struggle is it's not liquid anymore. Like, as you're literally producing a podcast in what looks like a nice ass fucking house. Like, it didn't look like some janky ass studio like me where I have a fucking desk behind me with some shitty lighting. She's in a whole fucking house. Like, with the night, like, did not look like just some standardized, so like, that looked like a real fucking house. And the awareness in your audience, let's be honest, most of the people that are watching you aren't living in the houses that you're producing that podcast in. That's where you just turn people against you. But now the whole theme of your show is about Christ, finding yourself, and all that stuff. And it's all just general psyop, whatever stuff. And I'm not going to shade her. It's her show. Do what you want with it. But in the accumulation of events, it makes you a long walking contradiction with issues with people in the past. It seems like not many people that you've had any type of contact with over the years really likes you. It doesn't, not like, there's not many stories of people coming out to defend you. There's more people coming out to defend Diddy than people are coming out to defend you. So, to me, I don't want to make it like B. Simone's this bad person. I think this is just what happens when the obsession of entrepreneurial life that people want, and you get so caught up into it that everything becomes transactional. Everything becomes about how do you serve me, and you forget the part where not everything is about what you get out of it. And because situations like now are why. I'm not religious, but I know somewhere in the Bible it says something about serving others. And when you serve others, don't be like, all the things I've ever done. I got this person in a house, paid for this divorce, paid for that, paid for this, bought people cars. It's like, that's not serving people. I'm not religious, but I know just because you pay for people's shit, that's not serving people. And if you felt you didn't get, like, what did you want in return? When you did those things, what was your goal of something? Did you want something equivalent back? Was a thank you not enough? Because before you do something for someone, ask yourself, what is my intention with this? And what is my expectation? And if it's anything more than just a thank you, then ask yourself, should I be doing this? Or does this person understand what I expect in return? So, I don't know, But we eat it up. And with celebrity cult followings, we eat this shit up. But baby girl, I'm sorry. I should not do that ever for the public to see. But yeah, welcome. Welcome to episode 350. I'm going to cut this whole clip out to post on the internet for algorithm. But this episode's not coming out for like 3 weeks at this rate, bro. I'm like 7 episodes ahead. I am on a fucking tear. Man. The more you eat out, the worse these. Oh, God. God, these farts are getting atrocious. Yeah, recording this on June 24th, 2025. Literally at 9:59 p.m. Eastern for the archives. Yeah. Dude, it's crazy how, like, I don't know a lot of people are quick on this shit, man. I don't know how I admire these content creators that, like, I don't know if, like, once they see a couple of their peers post it, they all just start making the same. But, like, I'm not even exact. Like, I think, like, I heard about it Sunday. The clip kind of started going around. But then, like, Monday, yesterday, there was, like, 2 or 3. And then today, it is, like, crazy. There's, like, 30, 40 videos from just, like, the biggest of the biggest people that cover this type of drama stuff. And you're just like, bruh. I'm like, God damn, I missed the boat. And, it's kind of a lesson in life. Where when you think about something, if you don't act on it, someone else is going to, It's like thinking about, I'm going to take you out tonight. But if you wait a couple hours too late, 3 guys have already taken her out to the woodshed. She got cabin fever, all right. But yeah. I'm kind of ashamed to admit this. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a massive headache yesterday. So I was just I literally laid in the bed for like 3 or 4 hours in the middle of the day. Staring at a computer screen too much is really bad for you. And look, I'm aware of who Tasha K is. And I'm aware of what she does. I've seen clips of her in the past. But she was live. And for some reason it popped up. And I clicked on it because it had some interesting stuff in the title. She was talking about Will Smith maybe divorcing Jada. Talking about the B. Simone thing. But not really on a big scale. And then there was something else she was talking about. But I gotta admit, I was watching. And I'm like, God, I'm eating this shit up. Why am I liking this shit? Like, I'm like, this is just some messy ass shit, bro. And I'm like, why am I watching this? What did she talk about? But no, I was, I know she had that issue with Cardi B, which apparently Cardi B might be, supposedly he's dropping an EP soon, which is some within itself. I don't even know if she writes her own stuff or anything, but I'm trying to find this Unwind with Tasha K. What is she talking? I'll know once I see the title. Yeah, she's talking about TD Jakes and Oprah, Diddy Party, B. Simone, and which also, so now that reminds me. We got to talk about this Tyler Perry thing, right? So I'm going to do the very responsible thing and talk about something that I haven't looked too deep in the details about. Is it just me? I don't care what Tyler Perry did to this guy. I'm not giving you $260 million. Like, there are people, like, his idea of basically this guy is suing Tyler Perry for texting him flirtily and kind of being weird on set, I guess, because of their flirting type of thing. And I just, to be honest, I don't see how people can sit there, and it's going to sound insensitive. It doesn't mean whatever Tyler Perry potentially did, he shouldn't take punishment for or anything. But $260 million is pretty ridiculous. I think I talked about this on the podcast before. I do so many episodes, I forget what I talk about sometimes. But there's just no way you can tell me that someone texting you stuff, flirting with you, which obviously it didn't seem like you. You know what's odd about it? It doesn't even seem like it was. It's never like it's just some random guy on set and he wanted nothing. And he wasn't into Tyler Perry and thing. He's just getting random ass texts all day. This guy obviously entertained it in some way. But the second I think he could find a way to exploit Tyler Perry and use it as evidence and leverage, then all of a sudden it's an issue, right? It's no different with DDG and Halle Bailey, which is another situation I do not know all the details about, so I should absolutely talk about it. But them having, which it was so predictable coming in. Like, this is why you got to be careful about celebrity couples you are fascinated with, because they all got issues like everyone else. And my issue with the whole thing, and this is going to sound weird, I'm actually going to side with Halle Bailey on one thing. I don't think leaking text messages to the public to prove that someone's insane just to make you seem like you're less insane, like you both deserve each other for all the wrong reasons. Like, obviously, he's got issues. She's got issues. They bring a newborn to this world. And she's leaking, getting restraining orders, exposing that he was abusive in some way. And then he's exposing text messages that she was, I don't know if I can say it for the YouTube, but she didn't want to be alive anymore. And I just don't see, and here's why people need to take this co-parenting thing a little bit more serious. Like, there's no one that wins out of this. You basically are just fighting for who wants to have control of the child more, but it doesn't really seem like either you really care about the actual child. You're more worried about pettiness. And I'm not a big fan of him exposing to prove, not even to prove what he didn't do, but just to prove how insane she is. And then her side's exposing things about him to rationalize. And, it just seems like it's this endless cycle of, this is why I think this is why they didn't want to show the baby's face for the longest time. And I just, I don't know, man. It's a crazy world we live in. As people, we love this drama. It makes it interesting to talk about. We're invested in other people's lives because our lives aren't as interesting. And I think people see this stuff, and then it's almost like without even trying, they try to mirror it. They have a baby with someone, and they like this toxicity. We like watching the R.E. Fletchers, the Krishan Rocks, Baby Blueface stuff. We normalize this shit. So then we wonder why there's like no 2-parent homes. We wonder why everyone's going insane, why guys feel trapped, why women feel trapped, and all this stuff, and how everything is just about, it seems like a lot of relationships these days, because it's weird to save all this information with the intent really just to expose someone one day. It's almost like you're holding blackmail in a way, and it's stuff like this that makes everyone infiltrate these devilish ideas on the internet into your head that every girl, every guy is out here ready to just smear your name at any cost. And it creates this weird dynamic in relationships where it's why no one can really be themselves around people. Because of stuff like this. No one feels safe with their partner. And it makes for situations like where we are more of just gathering over time. It seems like when you're with someone, the longer you're with them, your goal is just to gather as much evidence that if they were to ever try to pull some slick shit on you or expose you for something, you can go tit for tat with them. And that's one thing, you want to be petty with your partner or your ex-partner and talk about how much of a piece of shit they are. They did X, Y, and Z or whatever. But thing is, like, when it involves a child, man, it makes it where it's just sad because you're like, these two people brought a child in this world, This is where child care is going to. And, we all say we care about the child and stuff like that. I don't really think a lot of people care about the children as much as they say they do. But for some reason, like that deadbeat title to a father, it sticks. And I think that's what DDG is probably trying to avoid. You could look at Duke Dennis. He's trying for people to not get into his business, and they're more interested in his business. Like, there's just random woman out there claiming he's a father of their child, that he allegedly has like 8 kids out there with different women and stuff like that. And I don't think that much is true. He's like, this is why I don't put my family on the internet. Stuff like this. The internet is really just a dangerous place. It's more dangerous than ever. And the thing is the problem is with these situations, everyone is first to pick a side. Everyone's first instinct is like, look, I'm making clips of a podcast for people to view and to leave a like, leave a comment. Same with Joe Budden's podcast or any of these the internet doing commentary videos. We're all in a weird, fucked up way trying to get attention off of someone else's attention they wish they weren't getting. Everyone wants attention until it's the one you don't want. So, look, we have to take credibility. We have to take accountability as people online making videos for people as well. Because we are into it too. But just in general, like, I'm pretty, like, I'm fans of people, but there's not a single entertainer, athlete, anyone that I am so, like, defensive of that no matter what they do, I'm going to be in that comment section defending them. Not a single one. I'm not like Joy Taylor against Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark could literally, like, I think Caitlin Clark may have sucked Charlie Dixon off. I think that's why she's got a problem with her. I'll get into her in a second. Well, not literally into her, but you know what I mean. But the thing was, like, with streaming and stuff like this, it feels so, it's just everyday people talking about the stuff you want to talk about. They build a relationship with people through a camera, and people feel entitled to defend people no matter what. People feel a need to. In today's world, like, I'll be like with this B Simone stuff, right? Or really, I'll give an example on the Joe Budden podcast. I'm not a defender of Mel with everything, but like her take on this situation, I was like, she's not wrong about this. In terms of, and now look, her on the show, she's always going to defend, and all the guys, the thing is in this day and nature, because of, we're on the hyper defense, all guys, we have to feel like we'll always add that caveat. I'm not saying what they did was right, but we always got that caveat. We always can only see it through our lens. So no matter what, a guy, no matter what they're being accused of, no matter even if it's plain and dead sight, we will always find a way to be like, well, you can't trust these one, all this stuff. And it's like, I get what you're saying, man, but sometimes We gotta learn as guys and as girls to not just blindly defend people just because we like them. And with streamers and stuff like that, there's some people that no matter what they do, they're pulling their pants down for them. They are ride or die for people that take their money every month and God damn it. I can't even see the shit. Sorry, the light went out. But yeah, people have so, and that's a weird thing with influencers and stuff like that. Is these influencers be bragging about all the money they make and shit, and your ass is sitting there with $200 in your bank account, you know, getting $150 on your next check, behind on rent, and you're like, yeah, but you know what? His content makes me feel good. I'm gonna tip him $10 on Twitch today, as I'm already paying for $5 a month for a stream, even though he's making $500K a month on this shit. And that's the crazy part, is like I don't know. People just get lost in that world. So I don't know. I didn't even know Charleston White was out here fighting. I thought it was like it was Sunday night. It was after the Pacers game. And there was someone, they were doing a live stream of their own, and it said Charleston White versus Island Boys live. And I couldn't believe, I'm like, what kind of made up AI shit? I clicked the video. Apparently the fight already happened. So I rewind it. And it is Charleston White fighting the Lonely Boys. The Island Boys. The Lonely Island. That'd be funny if Charleston White would find a dick in a box. Now, I ain't saying he gay, but you got to tell us, Dwight. It is our business. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, how is this not advertised better? I was like, why are they fighting? And Charleston White won. I wouldn't say he looked amazing, but hey, for a guy's age, not bad. But yeah, we got to talk about JT. The one and only Joy Taylor. She has made a couple questionable statements about things, but this one, she said, make sure I get it correct. She said Caitlin Clark owes her popularity. What the fuck? God damn. The light keeps going out. Restart. I gotta edit that out. Joy Taylor said that Caitlin Clark owes her popularity to Angel Reese for creating their rivalry type of thing. First of all, I'm not kind of like with the B. Simone thing, I'm not going to focus on, because everyone kind of piles on Angel Reese. Like, yeah, it could be a tough watch on offense. I'm not going to lie to you. She's a good rebounder, obviously. And she's easy target because kind of like B. Simone, she kind of has brought a lot to herself. You know, a lot of I'm this, I'm that, this, that, and the other. And then when things are kind of not going well for you, then you kind of want empathy and all this stuff. So it is kind of like a catch-22 with her. But I'm not, I'll be honest. I know it's all fun and games, but sometimes online people go a little bit too upset. there's this one guy. He just makes these YouTube shorts and stuff where he's just every game. It seems like every game they play, he just picks like the 8 or 10 plays in the game where she misses a shot bad, dribbles, turns it over, does a thing that makes her, Angel Reese, I guess. And it's like, is that butter pecan? Brr! He's doing that. Everyone knows. If you know, you know. And I'll be honest, like, I go like, all right, man, like, you're kind of just focused on everything someone does wrong in the night. And then I'm sitting there watching, like, I can't stop laughing. It gets me. I'm morally corrupt here. So I'm actually, I try to be a little bit more easier on Angel Reese because I don't dislike her, believe it or not. Like, yeah, she does a little bit, that the WNBA is big, not just because of one person, because of me. And it's like, okay. But with all that being said, Joy Taylor's argument was essentially because without Angel Reese doing the stirs and all that stuff, it's about storytelling. And I don't want anyone trying to tell me, because I work in this every fucking day. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anytime someone says, I know what the fuck I'm talking about over and over about the same thing, and you're like, do you? Because her obsession because it is about storytelling. I do not care what anyone says. It's about storytelling. I'm like, well, there's only people, we get obsessed with storytelling when there's actually a story to tell. The game itself has to be good enough for the story to tell. If you try to make something out of nothing when it comes to sports, people will be turned off. Like, if Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese weren't as good as they were, no one would give a fuck. That's the story. Not when you lead with the story over the actual product and the thing, that's when you turn us off. You're trying to make everything about race and everything like that, and you try to make everything something it's not. And the thing with Joy Taylor, it's crazy how someone that could be so a part of sports, they have fallen into like Emmanuel Acho. He's out here criticizing Kevin Durant for not being a champion, and everywhere he goes, whatever. And like, bro, have some awareness. Like, you can't be out here not calling someone a champion when he has won the championship. And he's still dominating at his age, no matter where he goes, type of thing. And then to get ultra defensive, then you go on your show and you have this extra prepared like attack on him and all this stuff. But that Fox media and ESPN, where they feel like no one can criticize them, and they got to come back 2 or 3 times hard instead of listen. Like, he basically said, like, we're literally listening to the worst linebacker to play in the NFL to tell us what a champion is. And the worst part is there are people in the comment section, legitimate quote-unquote fans and stuff, that'll be like, well, sometimes KD, it's about sacrifice for the team and all this stuff. It's like, first of all, if he was on a championship team, Emmanuel Acho, I don't know if he was, but even if he was, him being on or off the team was not why they won or lost. And that's not shading Emmanuel Acho. Kevin Durant makes a difference of whether you win or lose a championship. He makes a difference on whether you actually at least can compete and you have a shitty ass team. And I'm just, I'm getting real sick and tired of these media. Not even analysts, because honestly, they're not even analysts. They're not analyzing the game. They're really just drama assessors, just key talking points. They talk about who's a winner, who's a champion. It's the same bullshit. It's like, bro, it's week 4 of the NFL season. Who gives a fuck if the Saints have a champion player? No one gives a fuck. But they hide behind these just basic talking points. They talk about the same shit for years, get paid a shitload of money, and then they criticize athletes for getting paid a shitload of money when they're talking about them, which is why they make a shitload of money, and they don't even have to do half of the actual work assessing the game as the actual athletes, and then they complain about who actually studied. He didn't look prepared. He didn't look like he studied. Like, y'all don't even know what most of y'all don't even know what an NFL playbook even looks like. How do you know? You can't even tell if he can read a defense properly. Like the Skip Baylesses of the world, he doesn't do it as bad anymore, but the Georgia Tech, like, they have such a confidence of this guy can't read the defense. How do you know he can't read the defense? They just be saying shit. Oh, he's washed. It's like the guy's dealing with a broken femur. Okay, yeah, I guess he's washed. His femur is washed. But the more and more, like, I'm so glad I don't watch these shows anymore. It's weird because Fox Sports, they used to post clips of, like, the prime, like the 2019, 20, 21 era, where they'd be posting Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, like 10 clips a day, bro. Like, that was prime time YouTube. Even, trying to think, I'm drawing First Take, Undisputed, they'd be posting clips all day. And even Speak for Yourself with Marcellus Wiley and Emmanuel Acho was actually a really good show. I actually liked Emmanuel Acho in that show. They brought a different, and now Emmanuel's kind of become that he's the captain of the ship. So he kind of feels like he can't be touched in a way. And, well, knowing the dynamic of Fox Sports, I think we know why. Everyone's had your girl. But I think people think just because you've been in the industry, be it like this obsessive with narrative. There is no story without Caitlin Clark. All right, fine. You know what? Let's say Caitlin Clark's not in the league. What story are you telling with Angel Reese? You going to do it with Sabrina Ionescu? She's a good player. But no one's selling out arenas like Caitlin Clark. That's the story. I am literally once in a while watching WNBA games. Not because I actually want, sometimes for betting purposes. But I will actually, once in a while, watch the Indiana Fever. It happens. I'm not going to tell you how I actually access the game. Yeah, that's neither here nor there. But we've got to stop with accepting these lazy bullshit championship analysis from these people. Like, they dumbed that conversation down so, one, they could get more engagement because as a fan, it's an easy thing you could just say. Oh, you suck. Never won anything. It's like, yeah, you play on the teams. You know what? You put your favorite player on this team. See how many fucking championships they win. It's so fucking stupid, man. There's a way to do storytelling in sports where narrative matters. Storytelling in sports is something like what Bill Simmons does well. He could tell an historic story from like 1985, like pull some stat from like the 67 win Bullets from 1977 or some shit, and talk about, well, this guy won the MVP, but because of the merger, blah, blah, and this and that. And he used that as context for a current thing they're talking about with the Nuggets versus the T-Wolves. That is actual storytelling, or telling a story, like putting together a documentary talking about a specific area, an era of basketball. Not just simple of we're just going to come up here and cause a divisive nature in a league that everyone's first introduction to the WNBA isn't even competitive, isn't even like competition. Because people say what they want. We talk about Jordan, Bird, Magic, and all that stuff. It wasn't about hatred. It wasn't about causing division. It was about, wow, let's watch these great players compete year after year and see who comes to the top. Not during the season where they sitting there talking about, oh, this person sucks. This person, like, they were sitting there talking about who's going to edge each other out. Nope. Pause. Like, there was a and it brought a fan base to appreciate and enjoy the game and the growth of the game. What's happening is these networks, they think just because they talk about the game, they're helping the game. They're bringing exposure, but they're not bringing attention to the game to make people actually like it. They're not even making their players likable. You are the WNBA to an extent. Now, these networks are actually causing Angel Reese to be hated more than maybe she should. She brings on herself. And they're creating this, like, Caitlin Clark can do. You're kind of creating this cult following Caitlin Clark. Kind of like when Morgan Wallen, if we're going to make a comparison in a weird way. When Morgan Wallen had his incident a few years ago, and he went on an apology tour. Now, Caitlin Clark never did anything like that. But the point is what happened, it actually made Morgan Wallen the biggest fucking star in the world. The most streamed, like, it made his next album even more because his fan base, who in genres of music, like, we are obsessed with a quote unquote story when there's something there to be had. Ironically, as I say that, people are obsessed with when someone does something wrong. There's two sides. There's people that will always hold it against them, egg them on, talk about this. And you're going to have people that were fans or not fans would be like, you know what, everyone deserves. And then you get people that all of a sudden like someone that they never even listened to before, but because the world's attacking them, they want to be in their corner. Especially if it's against certain things that they are not for, but if it fits the shoe, it fits the shoe. So I could jump on the bandwagon and say it's for something else. And it kind of did a short squeeze. It turned him to be a pretty big artist to the absolute fucking monster he is today. And that's kind of like Caitlin Clark was famous. Like, this stuff is going to make these people that are trying to cause a division to make her not be appreciated. All it's going to do is push her to be the biggest fucking thing in the sport ever. And it's going to transcend just basketball. Just women's basketball at that. That's the thing. I don't care if she's been on TV for 10 years. I don't care if some of these quote-unquote TV sports people, I don't care that they're in production meeting. Because what they also do, and I've talked about before, they talk about the same shit all the time, and they say it's because that's what we want to hear. It's like, it's like the news, man. They're going to force whatever they want down your throat. No one is literally in the comments being like, hey, how come we haven't had a Cowboys segment in 2 weeks? No one's ever put that in the comments. But they're going to keep doing it because it's comfortable. Because they know they can just do the same BS with it all the time. Have the same arguments. Same augmentation. Rabbit up the same fan base that doesn't even care about the team anymore. And it's also like the audacity. First of all, these TV, it's not good. Like, there'll be actual people on TV saying it's not good that we had two small market teams in the NBA Finals. And then they ended up having one of the highest rated Game 7 final. They won the highest finals series rating in like 6 years. And that's the thing. They'll also try to tell you what you don't like. Oh, it's too small. Bro. No one wants to watch that. It's like, it's NBA Finals. People are going to fucking watch it, bro. There's nothing else on. Sorry. Yeah, certain teams may bring a more international. But at the end of the day, people are going to watch the damn thing. The sport's bigger than a team now. That's the thing. The NBA is so big that honestly, it being the Lakers or the Celtics, the Knicks, it doesn't matter that much from a TV standpoint. Maybe from a rabid fan base, maybe from, in terms of just the tenacity of fans, but people just like watching the game. It really doesn't matter, man. And there was actually an argument, on, I think, Gilbert Arenas' podcast. They were arguing over the podcast or the finals ratings and how, and I agree with Kenyon Martin, be like, who gives a fuck what the ratings are? If you want to, what, are you not going to watch the game because only 100,000 people are watching it? Oh man, only 5 million people are watching it. I guess I'm not going to watch. Like, if you like watching something, you're going to fucking watch it. How does your experience of what you're watching have anything to do of how many people are watching it? You're watching on a TV in your own fucking house. Who gives a fuck? Most of y'all are just illegally streaming it on your phone. Which is probably why a lot of the views were lower. But I've never understood like the upset, like it don't, that stuff, they'll try to, it's weird. They try to tell the ratings to us. Like we're supposed to feel bad that not enough of us watched it. It's like, that's a you problem. like what's that like I give a fuck if 25 million people watch or 5,000 people watch on your network. What the fuck does that have to do with me? And they try like, oh, what happened? Oh, it's because of the market teams. Maybe the NBA should. I don't give a fuck. It really doesn't fucking matter to me. That's the definition. That's like a business complaining to us that their sales aren't, like they had a lower quarter of sales. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I still spend a couple $100 at your place. So what are you telling me? Well, if we don't get enough people in here, we're going to cut jobs. Damn, that's crazy. What's it got to do with me? But that's a mind manipulation shit. And these people that work for these networks, they tell you, oh, this is what you want to watch all day. It's like, no. And when you guys really started to do that shit, I stopped watching. You guys don't cover a lot of shit that people actually give a shit about. You guys cover basic ass shit. Like, I guarantee you, there was like three trades in the past 2 days that were pretty significant in the NBA. They're not going to talk about the Jordan Poole, Wizards, CJ McCollum trade. They're not going to talk about that. To the Pelicans, they're not going to talk about it. They're going to focus on the Drew Holiday and Anthony Simons for good reason. But they're not going to talk about the Kristaps Porzingis for more than 8 minutes on a radio show. They're going to be talking about the Anthony Simons, Drew Holiday trade for fucking 2 weeks and the impact of that. When really the impact of the Jordan Poole, CJ McCollum trade is pretty significant. There's actually probably better players in that trade, pound for pound. But they're going to talk about the one because that's the one they want us to talk about. That's the one they want us to tell. This is they try to tell you what's important. They don't actually listen. They don't actually care about what you say is important for the most part. They're going to tell you what's important, and that's what you're going to consume. That's why no one watches this shit anymore. It's just people yelling who can yell the loudest, who can have the craziest take, who's the most overrated player of all time. Like, bro, I think they actually, I don't know who it was, man. I think someone tried to make the argument that Shohei isn't the best player in baseball. You know, there was someone on one of these, they tried like, I forgot, they're like, not only is he not, they're like, I don't even think he's top. I think he's maybe the third best player. And I'm like, okay, I understand Aaron Judge is somewhere up there. But if you don't have Shohei 1 or 2, shut the actual fuck up. You should honestly be arrested. Like you should be where the child predators are. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, you deserve a death sentence. Like even even these child predators, even the cartels would probably like beat you the fuck up before a child predator. Like, what the fuck you say? What did he say? But that's the thing, man. Attention is currency. They're thinking about the next job. They don't care about the actual sport. They care about the idea of what if. That's the thing, it's like, I'll say this, like, kind of going back to B. Simone in a way. A lot of women, man, they are more impressed with unproven and what ifs. And we do this in the draft process. So really, I'll just go back to men. Executives sometimes overcomplicate a lot. They are so obsessed with what someone can be. A GM in the NBA is really like a woman. They are obsessed with what if he learns how to shoot? What if he learns how to dribble? What if he puts on 20 pounds of muscle? Instead of the guys like, hey, man, you know why I don't have to put on 20 pounds of muscle? Because I actually worked hard in the gym for the past 4 years. Yeah, but we want someone who can put on muscle, not someone that has muscle. Hey, actually, I shot 45% from 3 last year. Yeah, we're going to draft a guy with 29% because he has a good release point. His release point didn't drain any shots. Yeah. But he has good touch around the rim. It's like, but he had a terrible finishing percentage. It's like, yeah, but when it went in, it looked really good. And that's the thing, man. Like, these scouts, these GMs, they try to make this shit like harder than the reason why we have so many busts is because they try to project so much instead of just accepting what someone is for what they are, because they want to take the few, people like Giannis have really ruined this, because Giannis was the definition of someone who couldn't shoot, was very like lean. He kind of had like a Chet Holmgren thing going on from a muscle mass standpoint. And then all of a sudden now he's literally a Greek fucking god, bro. But yeah, media and sports, we are obsessed with, and really ladies when it comes to men, I'll be honest, like, when I've had a stable job and a job that paid well, it wasn't as attractive as, yeah, I work part-time. I work part-time, but, I do a podcast that doesn't make any money. I work out, doesn't make any money. I write screenplays, doesn't make any money. I write raps, doesn't make any money. So I'm a free thinker. I'm an entrepreneur. Let me tell you, man, there's a reason why it works. Because the idea of, man, but is this all he is? It's like, well, that guy who is, he actually is already what you're hoping for me to be. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, he's exactly what you're trying to hope I become 5 years from now. He is that. It's like, yeah, but because if you're a what if, I think a lot of people like these GMs, they could train you, they could coach you, they can turn you into the version they want you to be. They always just assume that the problem where basketball GMs and scouts they get wrong, they always just assume everyone can just get better at everything. Yeah, maybe he can become a better shooter. Will he? Maybe he can. Maybe he will put on muscle. But will he have a pretty severe injury in year 2 that inhibits that? Like, and that's the thing. We're in love with telling ourselves what something will be instead of what is. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Yeah, that's episode 350, I think. Jesus Christ. Of the Off the Beat podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Over like, follow, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell, most important, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah. Have a great day, morning, night, evening. Meep, meep.